Shabbat Shalom, brothers and sisters. I'm Moreh, Rapha'Yah. We're just about to start. Sorry for the delay, being a little bit under the weather, but we're just gonna go ahead and do it too, anyways. This is this Shabbat, Parashat Matot-Masei. There happens to be also a Simchat Torah, which is the closing of the book of Numbers, Bat Mirbat. We are going to start a new book, which is New Sefer, which is the book of Devarim or Deuteronomy. So let's just jump into it. And this parasha is very intriguing, very important, because it talks so many topics, but I do, picking about many topics here, I do want to pick one of the topics that are very, very intriguing, very important, because although Torah applies to everything in our lives, but this is extremely important because it speaks about our speech. So before we jump into it, please, if you have not subscribed, please do so you can get the latest production that we are working as we speak. So let's jump into it right now. Parashat Matot-Masei is a double parashot, double portion of Torah. But let's jump into it real quick. It will be number 40 and number 41. Parashat Matot in Numbers 30 verse 1 all the way to 32 verse 42. Moshe spoke to the heads of the Matot, which is the tribes of the sons of Israel, and said to them, "This is what Yahweh has commanded." See, we have to understand something that sometimes we kind of miss among the reading of the Torah, among the studying of the Torah, is that every time the leaders of the Israel do something, it's not because they made up whatever decisions they did and they execute the decisions. No. Every time they did something is because Yahweh spoke to them and to follow those directions. It is basically the same as today. We follow certain directions, certain principles, and thus it is vital for us to accumulate this information in our brains, in our minds, because it is vital to not just to learn the Torah. It's not just vital just to accumulate the information all the time, but also to execute the Torah in our lives. It's not just Shabbat. It's not just on feast. Every day we need to do it. So it's a must. Let's continue. When a man makes a vow, 30 verse 2 of Numbers or Bat Mirbat to Yahweh, or formally binds himself by taking an oath, he will not break his word, but will do all that he said that he would do. Once again, we are seeing one of the mitzvot, one of the directions that Yahweh says very clear, that if you're going to make an oath, a neder, in other words, in Hebrew, you will execute that word that you just spoke, because you spoke it and you didn't spoke it in vain. You spoke it for a reason. Our Creator wants us to be truthful in our lives, not just the Creator himself, but among ourselves. If you're gonna say something, do it. If you're gonna say something, it's because you mean it. It's not because you're lying, because a lot of people love to do that nowadays in this day and age, in this last era, but because we follow certain principle, and that certain principle has to reflect among us. Remember that we are the reflection of Yahweh here on earth. Remember, if we go back in time, how Yahweh made and created Adam and Eve, especially Adam. He said that he made them on his image and his likeness. The word for image is salal. Salal means a shadow, a reflection. So in other words, have you ever noticed that your own shadow, when you're moving, it follows everywhere that you go to? If you go that way, your shadow follows you. We're supposed to be the same thing here on earth. We're supposed to follow every direction that Yahweh is telling us because we are the shadow of Yahweh. How do we know that? Because Mashiach, see, when man lost that image of Yahweh, that salat, that reflection, is because they lost the integrity that Yahweh said that he was supposed to have. But now through our Mashiach, the Brit Chadashah, the renewed covenant, Shaul says that through our Mashiach, he have recovered that image, and thus we're supposed to follow that direction, that image, that perfection, that model, which is the Mashiach. It is very important for us to understand that now in this last era, we have a pattern, we have a principle, and that's Torah. Let's continue. Let's look into the Matthew Greek translation of the Roman Catholic Church. 5:33 says, again they say, they have heard it was said to our fathers, do not break your promise and keep your oath to Yahweh. But I will tell you to swear it at all, not to swear it at all, not by those Shemayim in heavens, or for it is the throne of Yahweh. That's what the Roman Catholic version says about that verse. But let's pause for a moment and let's put everything together what we just spoke to. A minute ago, the Yahweh says on the Torah very, very clear that if you're going to make an oath, a covenant, a neder with Yahweh, you have to make it truthfully, and you have to abide what you said in your words. In other words, don't break your word. Keep it until the very end. Because if you're not planning to keep it, don't say anything at all. Don't make a covenant. Don't make an oath with Yahweh. Very clear. But here in this Jesus, Roman Catholic Jesus is portraying that he's going against the Torah. This is the Greek Jesus that you're reading here. Stating very clear that don't make any promises. Not even for the heavens, and not even for the throne of Yahweh. That's what he says very clear. You heard it, but I'll tell you. In other words, he's going against the Torah. But remember, the Mashiach that we believe is going with the Torah. He goes according to the Torah. He's going aligned with the Torah. Let's look at the Shematithiyah of the Hebrew Shematithiyah of this verse, and look at what the difference is of this verse. But let's go back again to what Torah says. 30 verse 2, when a man makes a vow to Yahweh or formally binds himself by taking an oath, he will not break his word, but will do all that he said that he would do. That's what the Torah says. Now let's look at the Shem Tomatithiyah in Hebrew. Look at what the Mashiach, Hebrew Mashiach says. Again, you heard that was said to the ancients, you should not swear by my name. What it says in blue? Falsely. But you should fulfill your oath to Yahweh. But I say to you, do not swear. In blue says in vain. Do you see that? In vain in any matter, not even by him. Do you see what the difference is? Our Mashiach is encouraging each one of us, you, me, anybody, that if you're going or if you intend to make an oath to Yahweh, if you want to swear to Yahweh, it has to be truthfully. It has to be legit. It has to be according to the will of Yahweh, not according to your will. Do you see the difference here? Our Mashiach is not breaking the Torah. Our Mashiach is going aligning to the Torah, fulfilling the Torah to the max. And he's telling us that we need to make oath. He never said don't swear it. He never said that. But what he's saying is that we need to do it truthfully to our Creator. You heard many people where they said, I swear to you by my cat, I swear to you by my grandma, my mom, my brother, my sister, my pastor, my priest, by the president, I swear to you. But in reality, they're not. They're just in vain, falsely swearing because they're accustomed to that. They're accustomed to lies. But we, you and I, that are being learning Torah more and more, Yahweh, our Mashiach, both of them are telling us, encouraging us that we need to do the things legit, truthfully. Not only for Yahweh, to ourselves, to Yahweh, but also among ourselves, which is very important. Let's go into Matthew 12:36. And I say to you, for all the words that man speaks, he will be bound to give an account on the day of judgment. According to your words, you will be judged, and you will be condemned according to your works. You see how clear the Mashiach speaking here to all of us? You see how clear the Mashiach is speaking to, not just with me, to each one of us, of the things that we said. Once again, it is vital for us to understand why is it very important for us to make an account for the things that we said all the time. It is not a light thing to say every time we speak words. It's not a light thing to say when we know that we are speaking something that perhaps is going to make an impact in our lives. We need to always remember why Yahweh said these words to all of us. Deuteronomy 6:16 of Devarim, you have fear Yahweh Ayil Almighty, serve Him and swear by His name. This is, once again, not something that our Jewish brothers would tell you, because it is basically in the Torah. It is basically Yahweh making His statement that we ought to use His name legit, truthfully. Okay? We can utilize the name of Yahweh. Okay? And I'll give you examples in just a minute. But my point to you is that according to the popular belief, we don't supposed to mention the name of Yahweh. But according to the Torah itself and to Yahweh Himself, we ought to use His name legit, truthfully, when it comes to certain things. Not falsely things, not vainly things. We need to always remember why we were utilizing the name of Yahweh. And let me give you verses so you can understand what I'm talking about, okay? Deuteronomy 10 verse 20. In Devarim, you will fear Yahweh your Ayil Almighty, and you will serve Him, hold fast to Him. In Shabbat, Shabbat means swear by His name. You see that? Once again, we see over and over and over again the name of Yahweh, mention Him, that we ought to mention His name, not because we're just going to say it for the heck of it. No, because there is power in the name of Yahweh. And also because we are sealing our lips when we are swearing by the name of Yahweh. Legitly, okay? It's very important to mention this. Now, let me give you another verse. Leviticus or YHWH 19:12. You should not swear falsely by my name. Do you see that? Halal, which means falsely. Desecrate, they will soil, okay? That's what it means, halal. The name of your Ayil, your Almighty, I am Yahweh. He's putting His sign here, His seal here, that we ought to not to falsely swear on His name. It is vital for us to understand that when we utilize in the name of Yahweh, it has to be an account of truth. Why? Because every time we speak, we're supposed to speak the truth, whether we like it or not. We just have to have intelligence, knowledge, and understanding how to utilize the name of Yahweh. And that's what we need the Torah all the time. Let me give you more evidence. First of Kings 2:23, then King Solomon swore by Yahweh, may Ayil Almighty do terrible and worse things to me. Why is he saying this? It's because he's making the statement that whatever he said that he would do it. If he fails to do so, then he's making Yahweh be his judge. You see how important it is when we make an oath to Yahweh? It is not forbidden to Yahweh to mention his name. And I'll give you more verses to make an assurance that mentioning the name of Yahweh in an oath to swear by his name is not something out of this world. It is in the Torah. The problem is that nowadays, contrary to popular belief, we don't supposed to mention the name of Yahweh, but in the Torah, in the entire Torah, it speaks about mentioning his name truthfully and utilizing the name of Yahweh in a proper way. Let me give you more verses. 1 Samuel 20 verse 3. And in reply, David swore, your father knows very well that I have found favor in your sight. Therefore, he will say, Jonathan must not know this, or he will be unhappy. As surely as Yahweh lives, you see that? And as surely as you are alive, there is only one step between death and me. You see how he's mentioning the name of Yahweh again and again and again and again? It's because he's making the statement right now that we ought to mention the name of Yahweh, whether we like it or not, in a truthful statement. When we are mentioning the name of Yahweh, is because there is power to it. Because we're putting the name of Yahweh as a testament of what we're saying is truth. That's the maximum, we can say, witness in our lives, that what we're saying, it is very truth. Jeremiah 12:16. Then if they learn the ways of my people swearing by my name, as Yahweh lives, just as they thought my people to swear by Baal, they will be built up among my people. Now here, very clear, Yahweh speaks about that our fathers, they love swearing not by Baal, Yahweh himself, but by Baal. Baal was one of the demons, one of the Elohim that they worship. And they chose to swear by a demon, by Elohim, by one of the deities of the Canaanites, rather than what Yahweh says, swear by my name, Yahweh. Tables are turning now. If you notice, the word Baal is Lord nowadays. All of us, we've been raised by this Greco-Roman mentality that Lord here, Lord there. The Lord knows this, the Lord knows, I swear by Lord, the Lord, and so forth. Lord means Baal. If you want to write it down, please do so. In the book of Hosea, chapter 2, verse 7 and 8, it says very clear, in that day, I will remove the names of the Baalim, the name of the lords, in their lips, and no more they will swear by them. It is come to this day right now that we're no longer, many of us are choosing to swear by Baal anymore, by the lords anymore, because we know that we getting to know the truth. Now Yahweh wants us to swear by his name. Let's go back to the verse. It says, if they learn the ways of my people, what are the ways of my people? The Torah. Swearing by my name, as Yahweh lives, just as they thought my people to swear by Baal. Do you see that? That pagan mentality? They will be built up, my people, again. In other words, the time is near. The time is here, brothers and sisters, that we need to go back to our Father to swear by His name, not the names of the lords, the Baalim anymore. Look at what it says here. The book of, this is according to the Torah in Shemot or Exodus 23. This is making a remark of that verse. Yahushua chapter 23 verse 7, then you will not become like those nations that remain among you. Not even Sacher, not even mention the name of their Elohim, their demons, their gods, let alone that the people swear by them, serve them, or worship them. Do you see that? That's what Yahushua is saying here to the new generation. Not to mention the name of the Elohim, their gods. Because we have to understand, and let me just pause here for a second. When you utterly mention the name of the Elohim today, either in Hebrew could be Adonai, Jehovah, Lord, God, Jesus, all those demons, all the deities, we are making a conjuring. We are making a spell, in other words, that we don't even know we're doing it. That's one of the reasons why Yahweh is saying, don't even mention by your lips, because remember, our words have power. Even though we don't notice it, but they have power in our lives, for good or for bad, for evil or for good. But we have to understand the two concepts nowadays. Just as they are a material world that we live into right now, there is a spiritual warfare as well. And we have to make sense of that. And here, Yahushua is making very bold statements about that. Romans chapter 14 verse 11, look at what it says. He's making a statement of the Old Testament, the Tanakh. Okay? 14 verse 11 of Romans, therefore it is written in the Tanakh, in the Hebrew scriptures, as surely as I live, say Yahweh, every knee shall bow before me, and every tongue should publicly acknowledge Yahweh. You see how Shaul is making the statement right here, that we ought to make the statement nowadays. My question to you, brothers and sisters, when do we make a bold public statement to Yahweh? And the answer is here, in the waters of Tevilah, in the waters of immersion. When you make that bold statement to Yahweh, to the public, that you are confessing your sins, confessing that you will make a new creature, a new person to Yahweh, not to the pastor, not to the Morim, not to the rabbi, to Yahweh himself, because he's the ultimate redeemer. We make that immersion. We have to understand that you're making an old person to a new creature. Chapter 23, verse 23 of Devarim, Deuteronomy, but if a vow passes your lips, you will be careful to do so according to you will willingly promise to Yahweh, a yield Almighty, that you will promise your words spoken aloud. You see that? In other words, Yahweh is making a bold statement here in this Torah portion that we need to take in consideration those little nuances. We speak so many words, and sometimes many words have impact. We need to know what we're speaking about. We need to know what we're speaking to. Sometimes it's better to say less than say so many words. That's what the book of Proverbs says. It's better to speak very little words make more sense than a lot of words that you will make yourself a fool. It says the book of Proverbs about that. So the point of all this is that we need to make a statement into what we're learning nowadays. Now let's look into this. In blue it says, Baruch atah Yahweh Boreinu melech haolam asher kedishanu b'mizbotau wetzivanu la'asok bedervi tocha, which is translated in English, blessed is Yahweh, Master of the universe, who has set us apart with mitzvot and commanded us to participate in the study of the Torah. And that's exactly what we need to do. That's exactly we need to be occupied. That's exactly what we need in our lives. Right now, so to speak, so many things happening in the world, but we need to be steady. We need to have so much emunah, which means firmness. Continue what you have believed. Do not falter. Do not fall. Because many things will happen among us. But we need to stay steady with our Creator. And that's the call. We need to la'asok deviret Torah, which means to study, participate in the things of the Torah. Not just in Shabbat, not only on festivals, not only on Yom HaKippurim, every day in our lives. That's how you're going to grow every day. What it was, it will be again. Look at what it says here, 1 Corinthians 10, verse 11. Now, these things happened to them as a foreshadow, historically events, and they were written as a warning to us who live in the Acharich Hayami, which is translated as the last or the latter days. We are definitely living in these latter days. We are definitely living in the days of Mashiach. We are literally living in the days that we need to hold fast very, very much, because even worse things are going to happen. But we need to stay firm on what we have believed until the very, very end. I'm Moreh Rapha'Yah. Sorry for the lateness, but we will continue as always. We'll see you next time, for next Shabbat, for next Torah portion. Please subscribe if you have not. See you until then. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. We'll begin.